What's up, everybody? Nick McNaboe, Mike Milano. Together, we're MnM Bay Area, and today we're talking to Kellen Dammann. He's the Sustainability, Marketing, and Outreach Specialist for the County of Marin. I just got my National Association of Realtors Green Certification, and Kellen was one of the guest speakers with that. I'm talking about green initiatives in Marin. So, Kellen, thank you so much for being here. And jumping on a call with us and helping people in Marin get informed with this green initiative. So thanks for taking the time to chat with us today.
Yeah, Nick and Michael, thanks for having me. So yeah, again, my name's Kellen Dammann. I work with County Marin, and I'm in the Community Development Agency, which is where planning and building are housed. And we have a sustainability team in the Community Development Agency that works on promoting sustainability initiatives in Marin County. And yeah, some of those programs we're here to talk about today. Nick mentioned that he attended our NAR Green Destination training for realtors to kind of school them up on green building practices and different programs that homeowners can take advantage of. So yeah.
So what are some of the what are some of the things that a homeowner can take advantage of, and when do you see them taking advantage of them? Because Marin, is a no-growth area. A lot of the homes here are older and have been here for a long time. It's not like they're throwing up new developments. As far as from your perspective, older construction versus new construction. New construction, a lot of the stuff that people get rebates are kind of put in when a home is built these days. Since that's not really the case on a large scale here, what's it like for a homeowner to take the initiative? They're going to get their home energy efficient. What are the steps they go through for that?
Yeah, I mean, we could do a deep dive into the history of Title 24 and building codes. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Michael, most of the homes in Marin were built before 1980, 1970. Before the building code, the energy section of the building code was, really robust into where it is now. So what that basically means is that most of the homes were built to, way lower energy efficiency standards than a new home would be today. So you asked about kind of when this, when somebody might want to do upgrades. One of the reasons we, like talking to realtors and we do a lot of outreach with realtors is, the buying and selling process is usually when folks decide to do some work on their homes. Mm-hmm. And what we really want to do is get people thinking about, energy efficiency of their home. Their home is an energy system, and thinking about, instead of upgrading the kitchen or bathroom, maybe take a little bit of that money and address some of the energy concerns, because it's not just about saving energy. Your bills will go down and that sort of thing, but in our climate zone, it's really about comfort. And there's when you get a heat wave in the summer, you can be baking in your house if you don't have enough insulation, and in the winter you can be running a furnace all the time if your home isn't adequately insulated and air sealed. So
yeah. What are some of those? What are some of those simple upgrades? If somebody was just going to do, they're not going to jump into the big ticket items, but there are some pretty easy upgrades before they go in and do a photovoltaic array on their roof. I mean, what do we got on those things?
Yeah, I mean, there is a general loading order, and the the logic of it is basically the cheapest stuff first. So, changing out, if you have any incandescent or even CFL light bulbs, changing those to LEDs, those are, very inexpensive these days, and they last a long time. And an LED uses like 10% of the electricity than an old incandescent bulb. And, they can dim and come in different colors and that sort of thing, so that they're really versatile. And that's a real easy thing to do. And then small things like power strips. But then once you get beyond like your plug loads and your lights, you can start looking at insulation and air sealing. A lot of the homes, as we've been talking about, were not built with insulation at all. So, somebody might open up their walls to do a remodel, and it's like, wow, there's no insulation in here at all. And yeah, yeah, and one thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is how air sealing goes hand in hand with insulation. So you can kind of think of it like a wool sweater on a windy day. You know, the wind is going to go right through that wool sweater, so you need to put on a windbreaker too, so you get that, you know, air sealing and then the insulation on the inside. So yeah, like if you go around your house and, you know, find all the places where, you know, holes have been drilled for plumbing or electrical, you know, maybe there's some gaps under the doors and windows. And the average American home, if you add up all those, you know, little holes everywhere, it basically comes up to like the size of a hula hoop. So just imagine, you know, hula hoop size hole in your house, where every time you're, you know, pressurizing your house by, you know, running the furnace, you know, you're shooting air into the house, you're pressurizing it, so air is going to go out. It's just, you know, shooting out all those little holes. So it's, you know, really important just to, you know, take those two factors into consideration, just doing air sealing and also the insulation. And then you're just going to have a, you know, comfortable house year round. And that's before you even get to, you know, upgrading an old furnace or water heater, for instance. And then, you know, after you do all that stuff, the solar arrays are the most expensive, also the most talked about. And really the idea here is that, you know, you want to reduce your consumption so that when you go to buy a solar array, you don't have to buy as many panels. So you're kind of saving money on both ends there.
Well, and then if the cost of inefficiency is hard to kind of pinpoint, I bet, you know, people on cold winters are bumping their furnace and barely staying warm, and if it's escaping out of the size of a hula hoop on average, I can understand why. So yeah, I can see how that small step to kind of air gap sealing, is that what we call it?
Yeah, building air sealing.
Yeah, I could see how that's often, maybe people don't even know that service exists. Like, how does one even get to the point where they find out that might be something that they've been living with for a really long time? Like, how would they go about finding out what they would need to do? Is there like anybody that comes through and kind of walks through the house and shares with them, you know, where their inefficiencies are and what steps could be made? Or or do they have to do that themselves?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's some things that are obvious, right? A lot of people know they're, you know, might be living in a, you know, really drafty house. I live in an old Victorian in San Francisco, and it gets really cold in here. So I know, you know, and just with my background on this stuff, I know what's going on. Another way you can tell before you get a professional out, a lot of the times on your PG&E bill, it'll tell you if you're, you know, perhaps using more energy than your neighbors. So that's a good way you can tell, you know, every month, look at your PG&E bill, and it'll kind of give you an idea of, you know, where you're at. But yeah, there are a couple programs that, you know, Marin residents can take advantage of. One of those is called Home Energy Score. So that's where you have a professional come out to the house, and they do kind of like an inspection of the house. They get all the specs. They, you know, take the, you know, the room sizes. They look at the, you know, the window areas, and they take a peek in the attic, see how much insulation's in there. They look at your mechanical equipment, see how old it is. And they take all that information and put it into a computer software, and then it spits out a number between 1 and 10, you know, which is the score. You know, one being an inefficient home, 10 being a very efficient home. And that score is compared to a house of, you know, similar size. And BAYREN, which is the Bay Area Regional Energy Network, which Marin County participates in, provides a $200 rebate for each home score done. And it's, you know, it's tied into some additional rebate programs and that sort of thing when you decide to make, you know, upgrades down the line. Yeah, it does also come with a custom recommendation list. So your assessor will go through the house, generate a score, and say, okay, these are the areas you need to focus on, and this is probably your cheapest option, and they'll help the homeowner like create a plan, basically.
That's awesome. So it takes the guesswork out of it for the homeowner. Like if they know they want that there's inefficiencies, but they don't know where to begin, they can actually have an expert come do an inspection, give them a plan, and then also have the resources that they can refer to thereafter.
And do they get these contractors to come out from a particular link? Where can we send some people? I'll put a link in the description here. Is that BAYREN, or is there another resource that they can go to?
It's bayren.org/HES for home energy score. And then on there's a prominent button to find an assessor in your area. You just type in your zip code, and it'll give you a list of professionals that are participating in the program.
I think it's a neat. It's really cool that that homeowners are being incentivized to actually do these things too. So the rebates and what's available to them. Where would they find out that kind of info?
Yeah, so there's the Home Energy Score kind of works hand in hand with the Home Plus program, which is a rebate program for single family homeowners that are, actually go out and do energy efficiency upgrades to their house. Mm-hmm. That website is bayrenresidential.org.
Okay.
And kind of a similar setup. You can go on there and look for contractors in your area. Also look for contractors that are specializing in what you want to do. Maybe they specialize in insulation, or they're an HVAC outfit. And the rebates range, I believe right now, it just goes up to like $5,000 depending on the scope of work. So I think the one I can rattle off the top of my head is a heat pump water heater. So changing from an old gas tank water heater to a heat pump water heater, which runs on electricity and is very efficient, is about $1,000 rebate.
Wow.
And then they can quantify that. They can take their previous energy bills, install that, get the rebate, and then compare to get that quantitative data. And it adds to the marketability of homes in Marin. Our millennial buyer is, showing up with thermal guns to judge the efficiencies of the house. It's a really forward thinking program. Yeah. And it's a nice way, instead of like, what do you do to do the house? Oh, we changed the carpets. We did a little paint. We did a little stuff. It's like a lot of our buyers now want to see, it's like, oh, we did some electrical upgrades 5 years ago, and while we did that, we insulated the house, and now it's on the market. Like, that's marketable information that's really valuable, that a lot of people don't know when they're opening up a wall, is they can just throw in a couple $100 worth of insulation in their remodel and make their house efficient and improve their home energy score. Now they have a quantitative comparison. It's a really cool program.
That's cool. I didn't know the buyers were showing up with thermal imagers. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, but Nick's a little younger than I am, so. No, I wonder if it's a matter of time where that's another just pre-sale or during escrow inspection that sellers either provide prospective buyers, or that buyers are getting for themselves in their due diligence process. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right now it is voluntary. That's why we can give the rebate. Berkeley, it is a time of sale ordinance. So wow. Actually the rebate isn't offered there because it's mandatory.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there are parts of the Bay Area where it's mandatory.
Yeah, right now Berkeley, and I believe Piedmont is looking into one. But yeah, so far it might be trending in that direction a little bit down the road. But right now it's just that one, and then Piedmont and maybe a couple others are looking into it.
Yeah. Yep. And then if somebody wanted to get more information on this, this is kind of just a jumping off point. would they contact you? What's the best, what's a great resource for them to get some information and really kind of do the due diligence before they decide to make a decision, besides reaching out to Mike or myself? Because we're always willing to put you in contact with Kellen. But Kellen, what's the best ways for people to get information? Maybe get a hold of your department, talk to you, talk to people in the know about this program.
Yeah, I mean, I work for the county. I work for all the residents of Marin County. So, my telephone and email are always open if anybody has any questions. But there is a resource called the Home Energy Advisors. So they're sponsored by BAYREN. So BAYREN is the Bay Area Regional Energy Network. It's a partnership of the 9 Bay Area counties, and they have various energy efficiency programs that we implement in the Bay Area. And BAYREN is the group that runs the Home Plus rebate program and provides the incentive for home energy scores. And they do have a service called the Home Energy Advisors, and it's a number that you can call and talk to somebody who has a BPI certification. So they know everything about home energy efficiency. They can connect you with a contractor. They can help you go over bids. They can just answer any questions you have. And that number is 866-878-6008.
And I'll put that in the description as well.
Yeah, but you guys can also contact me, and I'll give Nick and Michael my contact info.
Perfect.
And I think it's going to just become more and more relevant. This is something that maybe a lot of people haven't taken into account yet. Yeah,
the big thing right now too is electrification. So I can talk about that for like an hour, but the short version of it is that as our electrical grid gets supplied by more and more renewable energy, so there's more solar, there's hydro on the grid. In order to kind of keep reducing emissions, we need to get people to convert from gas appliances like gas, space heating, central furnaces, that sort of thing, and water heating to efficient electric options. And right now that move is for heat pumps. And a heat pump basically works like a refrigerator in reverse. It's just taking BTUs out of the ambient air and using the compression cycle process to basically heat a tank of water or heat a home. And so it's just using electricity to move energy around instead of generating it at the source. So that's why they're more efficient. But yeah, there's a big push to go from gas appliances to electric appliances. The county actually has an additional incentive for folks that are doing that. They can be stacked on top of the BAYREN Home Plus rebates. And that program is called Electrify Marin. And it's a little bit simpler. Usually the homeowner just applies for it after the project's completed. And you just need a building permit, application, and some before and after pictures, and we send a check in the mail. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's the thing that's going to be big in the future.
Very cool.
Oh, in the future here, we're in it.
Yeah, right now.
Well, cool. Kellen, thank you so much. We really appreciate you making the time for us, and we're happy to share who is behind this in Marin locally. And if it wasn't for Nick getting certified, what was that course again, Nick?
It was just the National Association of Realtors. They put a green certification together. It was a 2-day course, 8 hours a day. Kellen was one of the guest speakers. And it was one of those, that makes so much sense, courses that I was really privileged to start that conversation. And here we are today, better for it.
Yeah, and bringing it out to the masses. So thank you.
Yeah. So Kellen, thank you again. I'm Nick McNaboe, Mike Milano, MnM Bay Area.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us. And Kellen, you're a rock star. Take care, guys.
And your work is important, and we're lucky that you're doing it for the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, happy to help.
Cool. You guys.